Ever wondered what it really takes to build modern AI? I'm not just talking about using a chatbot, but actually creating something from the ground up that can think, act, and even work as a team. Well, today, we're going to unpack the complete blueprint for AI mastery step by step. So, the inspiration for this whole explainer comes from a really detailed curriculum by Prajan AI. We're essentially using their structure as our map for the day. It's a proven path that shows exactly how you get from the basic principles all the way to building some seriously sophisticated autonomous AI. And this is the big question, right? It's one thing to hear about AI all the time, but understanding the actual step-by-step journey of how it's created, that's a whole different ballgame. So let's follow this question and see where it takes us. All right, our journey starts right here. We're going to deconstruct this blueprint and really understand how an AI architect is made, starting with what is without a doubt the most important foundation. Think about it. Before an AI can write a poem or summarize a big report or even just follow a simple command, it has to master a much more basic skill, understanding human language. That's exactly why pretty much every AI journey begins with natural language processing, or NLP. It is the absolute foundation. And this really gets to a core principle that the source material emphasizes right from the get-go. You have to build that language intelligence first. It's that classic idea of learning to walk before you can run. And in the world of AI, understanding language, well, that is walking. So, how does an AI even begin to understand our messy, complicated human language? Well, first, it's got to do some cleanup. This involves things like tokenization, which is basically just breaking sentences into words. Then, using techniques like lemmatization to find the root of each word. Turning running and ran into just run. And finally, it gets rid of all the little filler words. It's kind of like teaching a computer grammar from scratch. Okay, so once an AI understands the words, it can start to get the meaning. And a great way to see this in action is summarization. An extractive summary is kind of like taking a highlighter to a document. You're just pulling out the most important sentences as they are. But an abstractive summary, that's way more advanced. The AI actually understands the content and then writes a completely new summary in its own words. Of course, we don't just communicate with text, right? Our world is full of images and sounds. And that's where we hit the next level of intelligence, multimodal AI. This is where the machine learns to process and connect information from text, images, and audio all at once, which creates a much richer, more human-like understanding of the world. All right, so with that foundation of understanding locked in, we can finally move to the part I know everyone is excited about. Generative AI. This is where the AI makes that huge shift from just interpreting information to actually creating brand new, totally original content. This is a perfect time to quickly clear up some terms that get thrown around and confused all the time. Just think of it like a family tree. AI is the big overall goal, making machines smart. Machine learning, or ML, is one way to do that, by having machines learn from data. Deep learning is a specific type of machine learning using these complex brain-like networks. And generative AI, well, that's the creative cousin in the family that uses all of this to make brand new stuff. But how do you make this generative AI truly useful and, more importantly, trustworthy? The secret sauce really is a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG for short. This is the key to stopping an AI from just making things up. Honestly, the best way to think about RAG is like an open book test for the AI. Instead of trying to force the AI to memorize the entire internet, you give it a very specific set of documents, say your company's internal PDFs or a legal database, and you tell it, you must find the answer right here. It retrieves the facts first, then it generates the answer based only on those facts. No guessing allowed. So, we've taught our AI to understand. We've taught it to create. Now we're ready for the final and frankly incredible leap. We're going to teach it to act. We are moving beyond AI that just follows instructions to AI that can make its own decisions and do things in the world. We're now building autonomous agents. So what actually makes an agent an agent? It really boils down to these 4 things. It needs perception, a way to sense the world around it. It needs a brain for reasoning, which is usually a large language model. It needs memory, both short and long term. And crucially, it needs the ability to take action by using digital tools and APIs. At its most basic, you can have a single AI agent working alone. Think of a digital research assistant. You give it a task, it perceives your request, it reasons about the best way to find the info, and then it takes the action of searching. But that's just scratching the surface. Now, What if you could have a whole team of them working together? This is where things get really, really powerful. Multi-agent systems are like building a digital project team. You could have one agent that's an expert researcher, another that's a brilliant writer, and maybe a third that acts as a tough critic or reviewer. They all cooperate to achieve a much more complex goal. And hey, this isn't science fiction. This is happening right now. Developers are building these kinds of multi-agent systems using really powerful open-source frameworks you might have heard of, like CrewAI, AutoGen, and LangGraph, to basically orchestrate these entire teams of AI agents. Okay, we've followed the blueprint all the way from a single word to a whole team of autonomous agents. So let's bring this back down to earth. What can you actually build with this kind of knowledge? The answer? A lot. See, this whole roadmap is built around a relentless focus on application. This isn't just theory, it is all about building. The path is packed with more than 10 hands-on projects, which makes sure that every single concept is backed up by a real practical skill. And this whole journey leads to building some serious, real-world applications. We're not talking about simple toys. We're talking about systems like a data analyst agent that can take a file and generate an entire dashboard, or a smart tutoring system with multiple AI tutors, or an agent that automates complex business workflows. This is where it all comes together. So, what's the end game of a blueprint like this? Well, it's pretty clear. It's not just about learning for the sake of learning. It's about enabling real-world impact, whether that means launching a startup, diving into cutting-edge research, or driving innovation inside a big company. So there you have it. We've gone all the way from a single word to a collaborative team of intelligent agents. The path is laid out. You now have the blueprint. The only question left is, what will you build?